At this village bakery in Hertfordshire, the newest, just 16. Her apprenticeship agreement is signed by herself, her parents and her employer, Mr. McNichol. Under it, she's guaranteed 4 years bakery training. While she was still at school, Denise started Saturday work at the bakery and found she liked it very much.
Well, now I've left school, which is something I wanted to do. I wasn't worried about my exams or anything because I didn't take them. And, you know, I waited and Mr. McNichol had waited for me, so as I didn't need my exams to get me in college or, you know, at work, Mr. McNichol didn't want them, really. It was up to me to decide if I wanted to stay on and take them. He wasn't worried. But I decided to come to work because that's what I wanted to do. My grandmother used to do a lot of baking and we used to go and help her. And then my mother asked Mr. McNichol how to start me off in the career. I was, well, just over 14 when I came here.
Denise was still at school when she began the technical college side of her bakery training. She went to college from school 1 day a week, doing what's called a linked course. Now she's left school for full-time work at the bakery.
Okay.
Mrs. McNichol's in charge of the front shop and all the selling side. Her husband, the master baker, he runs the production side.
That'll be quite all right. We'll manage that.
Good.
Their son, Roger, is second baker. He manages the bakery whenever his father is away. Roger's wife, Christine, is also in the business. She's in charge of all the special icing and cake decorating.
That's it. Lovely. Is it tough, is it?
Yeah.
Want me to take over?
Training the apprentices is the concern of all the family, so Roger's on hand to supervise Denise in the skill of pastry making. Mr. McNichol told us how he organises his apprentices' training.
Under an apprenticeship, I give the practical side of a training, the college gives theory and the more advanced type of training. Working on a small firm, we not only teach them how to make, bake, decorate and finish the articles, we also encourage them to go into the shop and to see that the stuff that they have produced is reasonably laid out in the window. Well, it's one of the few trades today that are left to a craftsman to see an article from the raw material to the actual selling to the customer. This is its beauty. Plus the fact that you are doing something different every day of the week. No 2 days are virtually the same.
Pick up your pastry. Tuck the end of the horn in and over. That's it. And it just rolls itself up. That's it.
Another first-year apprentice with the McNichols is George Spain. Why did George choose to be trained in a small bakery?
I prefer staying in the small bakery. There's a lot more to learn. Them big bakers, they stick you on one thing, and you're probably doing moulding up for 1 week and next week greasing tins. Whereas in a small bakery, you're doing different things every day.
Every Monday, Mr. McNichol picks up supplies not far from the technical college, so Denise and George are lucky enough to be given a lift. They take a course set by the City and Guilds of London Institute, one of the main examining bodies for craft skills. Chief Instructor John Malone told us about the course.
Well, as part of their apprenticeship agreement, they have to attend college 1 day per week. They at the moment are on the City and Guilds 120 Part 1 examination, which is a 2-year course. They are doing confectionery and bread making, both in practical and theoretical subjects. 70% of their time is spent on confectionery, 30% of their time is spent on bread making.
On Tuesdays, Philip Warford attends college on day release doing the advanced course. He's in the 3rd year of his apprenticeship with Mr. McNichol.
Your ingredients in, your fat and salt first. Lovely. Soya flour. Sugar. crumble your yeast up well round the edges. We'll get you the water.
Oh, yeah.
It has been measured. It is the correct temperature. That's it. Now then, shut the lid.
These days, machinery takes a lot of the hard labour out of bread making, but there's still plenty to be done by hand, including the greasing of the bread tins. Phil starts bread making at 4 o'clock in the morning, and this puts many people off bakery as a career. But on the other hand, the work's over by early afternoon, so Phil will have the rest of the day to himself. It's very important for bread to be the correct weight. By law, it mustn't be even a single gram under.
There we are. Come in. That'd be good. I'll just wait till they come out. You can get them in the tins.
I'll cover them up then,
But anybody who enters this trade at the moment has a very, very bright future, because craftsmen in the trade are very few and far between. That's if he wants to carry on working actually for somebody else. He served his apprenticeship, then he'll get his national certificates. From then on, of course, he can look forward to even getting his own business with help from the major flour mills in the country, which help finance any new business. Right, that'll do you nicely. Now then, don't forget to get that first roll very, very nice and tight.
As a bakery apprentice, you get your diplomas from your technical college training. Your employer gives you plenty of practical experience.
Yes.
As Dave McNichol says,
Your apprenticeship is not a diploma. Your apprenticeship is a guarantee of you being well trained and having a good training, because a local apprenticeship board, it's their responsibility to see that the bakery you work at covers sufficient range of goods and articles to train you thoroughly.
a bakery apprenticeship lasts 4 years, quite a time. What happens if you feel you're not getting the right experience with your employer?
Well, we have got a good example in Philip, who joined me just 9 months ago. He did the first 2 years of his apprenticeship in a bakery, but he was dissatisfied with the training he was getting. So he applied to the local apprenticeship board to see whether he could get a transfer. They, in return, asked around at the bakeries they know, and I said I would accept him as a trainee. So his articles of apprentice were signed over to me. I guaranteed to take him through his advanced apprenticeship.
That's jolly good, Phil. Yeah. Scroll's a little bit uneven, but the writing's nice and straight anyway.
Yeah, it just needs that finishing touch, I
What's she
think.
got on?
Phil told us he chose bakery because he wanted a good training in a secure trade. After all, he said, everyone's got to eat. So, as we've seen, doing an apprenticeship in a small traditional business like a bakery can be almost a family affair. But what's it like being apprenticed to a very large organisation like the Ministry of Defence? There's been a Royal Naval Dockyard at Portsmouth for nearly 800 years. Today, the dockyard, like any great industry, needs a huge variety of technical skills: shipwrights, founders, electrical fitters, joiners, riveters, boiler makers, plumbers, motor transport fitters. The list of skills grows longer every year, and there are opportunities every year for young people to take up craft apprenticeships. We visited one of the dockyard's training centres, where more than 100 apprentices spend their first 2 years off the job outside the dockyard. Here they learn the basic trade skills of electrical fitting. We asked the chief instructor, Mr. Scott, to tell us about the course.
Because of the requirement of the Navy, these apprentices have to become fairly versatile. This is why we start off with a basic hand skills course of 4 months. This is to get them used to different types of bench work, to get coordination between hand and brain. And it's after the 4 months that they go on to their electrical training.
What's the distance between that hole and that hole?
9mm. Okay, so.
Margaret Sharman's well on in her second year now. One of the first things she had to learn during her probationary months was how to operate a lathe in the machine shop. She had to reach a standard good enough to produce a metal test piece.
We have to do a test piece on brass, which consists of doing different diameters on one piece of brass, going up in steps, and you have to take it down to a tolerance of 1/1000th of an inch.
These apprentices will never have to work in a machine shop, but it's a help if they can turn out small pieces of equipment for themselves. Providing they've come through the probationary period well, the apprentices now sign their deeds of indenture. Then they go on to their electrical training.
The Dockyard apprentice knows how to repair a motor. He would know how to strip and repair an armature.
What sort of state was this motor in when you got it?
Needed a complete rewiring.
Rewiring. And you've completely rewired it now, have you?
Yeah.
And I will test it now. See what happens.
The test shows whether the rewiring was faulty, but this apprentice has done a decent job the first time. Peter Black is in his second year. He's learning how to wind coils for rewiring an armature.
Or when we're winding a coil, you have to remember what most people forget is the strings that go underneath the coil, otherwise you can't tie it up. Then we have to remember the number of turns you put on, and that's done by using the rev counter. Or too few or too many would show up on the test at the end, either too much or too low resistance.
Now it's the turn of Russ Brown to tape the coils. Why did Russ choose electrical fitting?
When I was at school, during physics lessons, I used to do electricity and all that. Well, I thought from then, electricity is what I wanted to get into, you know. And I asked my dad about it, and he said it was a good apprenticeship to do. Wrote in for a craft apprenticeship, and they sent me some forms just after. And then I had to go down to their personnel office, have a medical, and take this DAMET exam.
DAMET stands for Dockyard Apprentices Maths and English Test. You can sit this exam if you don't have examination passes in those subjects. One part of the course most apprentices enjoy is car electrics. Margaret told us what they have to do during this period.
First of all, we'd have to assemble like a desk or the lights of the car. That's the headlamps, side lamps, reverse lamps and that. From that, you'd go onto the actual car. Well, that's got everything from ignition, the lights, battery, starting motor and everything like that.
Complete circuit. Well, let's go through the circuit, shall we? Supply from the ignition switch to the HT core, to the HT core, and you should have...
As with apprenticeship in most other industries, Dockyard apprentices attend technical college on day release, where they study for qualifications that fit their trade. Russ, Peter and Margaret go to college the same day each week, together with other Dockyard apprentices. They take a course specially tailored to their needs. We asked Brian Allen, their instructor, what this involves.
HM Dockyard is associated with ship repair and maintenance. The City and Guilds have tailored this particular course to the requirements of ship repair and maintenance. Of course, the ship is subjected to a very corrosive atmosphere as far as seawater is concerned, and therefore the plating of equipment has to be that much more exacting. Also, of course, the ship is subject to rolling and pitching, which are not encountered on shore establishments.
Back at the training centre, this special workshop is designed to give the apprentices real shipboard surroundings. Except for pitching and rolling, everything is laid out the same as they'll find when they go to work on ships next year.
At the end of their group training, the apprentice then goes into the dockyard, where he will be allocated to various parts of the dockyard's activities. We're mainly a ship repair operation, and naturally a very large percentage of the apprentices will go on to ship work. The girl apprentice is treated in no different way to what the boy apprentice is treated. She can go on any type of work, even to work on a ship. We have them doing exceptionally good work in the amateur winding shop, and they've proved themselves invaluable on telephones.
Signal loud and clear.
During a lunch break, we asked the boys what they thought of sharing their training with girls.
When I came here, I noticed there was only 5 actually. I would have thought there'd have been a few more that was interested in the job. So as we became second years, the first years had some more girls, and of course it will slowly build up till I expect there'll be 50-50.
Oh, it's only been in the past, well, I'd say 2 years that, you know, girls have known that apprenticeships are open to them. Until then, it was always sort of assumed that it was a boy's job.
I don't think that's true, is it? Because when they advertise in the newspaper, they always say boys and girls apprenticeships in the Dockyard.
Yeah, that's here, but you take over the country, not just in the Dockyard, but in other apprenticeships as well. It is mostly boys that they do expect to do this type of job. And you talk to people now, and they say to you, I say I'm an electrical fitter, apprentice, and they say, well, I didn't know girls could do that.
Doing an apprenticeship here, is it very different from school? Anybody?
I think here you've got far more responsibilities, you know. Like, well, you get paid for a start, yeah, that's a different thing, but in the mornings you've got to clock on if you're late and that, you lose that pay.
Well, I think when you realise the goal, in 4 years' time you'd be an electrical fitter, I think you're just working to that and you don't notice the time, I think.
Well, I think the time goes by so quickly, because when I was at school, you know, used to drag along, I was so bored. But in here, I enjoy myself, enjoy the work, and the time seems to fly past.
We asked Mr. Scott what happens to the apprentice's deeds of indenture at the end of training.
The indenture is then given to the apprentice as to certify that he has served the normal apprenticeship. Now, providing he has reached an acceptable standard during his apprenticeship, he is also given a certificate of competence. And this is very necessary for any future employer. We're acknowledged as having a very high standard, and I think they would accept him quite readily.
Make up your mind early if you want an apprenticeship, because it starts soon after you leave school. Remember, you'll earn less than many unskilled workers, but you'll have a skill, and that'll be worth good money. Don't forget, apprenticeships are still a pretty good way of acquiring the skills that industry so desperately needs.